This trickle charger, it's got a start function on it. Could be those terminals are just too corroded. Nothing. So the battery must be pooched. Either that or those terminals are too dang corroded. Okay boys, so as you saw, there was no power at all going to it. So we pulled the terminals off this battery. That one looked like the roof of the Parliament buildings. If you're Canadian, you'll know what that looks like. So it was pretty corroded, needless to say. That was the positive, so that's where the power comes in. Or, I don't really know. Don't really understand electrical too much, but I thought the negative just kind of grounds it out. The power goes out of the battery through the positive, comes back through the negative. Anyways, cleaning those up. Gonna try her again. If that doesn't work, we got another battery. The old man said he's got a brand new battery sitting in the shed. We're not sure if it'll fit in here, but we're getting her figured. Hopefully this beast will come to life. I mean, the old Vortec is looking great, so we don't need to clean that at all. He does have some degreaser in there, but it looks much cleaner than the engine on my truck. Over and out. Okay, we're just filling up, putting the fuel in. We got the battery terminal cleaned off, and that seems to be working. So we're gonna see if she'll go. I can hear the pump going. That's got to be enough fuel. Here, I'm going to click this over to engine start there, Dad. Okay? Not enough juice yet. Okay, might be a problem with the battery. All right, we'll check back. Okay, so the old man, he doesn't want to be on camera. So you guys aren't going to see any of him. I don't even think he wants his voice on there kind of thing. A lot of people, he told me he doesn't want to be on the internet. All right, so that's okay with me. Anyways, so we got some power to it now that we cleaned off the battery terminals. We put some gas in it. We've had this trickle charger on it. It almost wanted to go there, but it was just tick, 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 right? So just doesn't have enough juice right now. We're thinking this battery might be pooched, and mind you, it might not start, but he's gonna go over and grab this. He doesn't want to boost it with his new GM, rightfully so, because I mean it could screw up the electrical. So he's gonna bring the tractor over, and we're gonna try and give her a boost and see if she'll go. Oh, is that not recording? I don't know if that last video recorded, but it fired up. We hooked it up to the tractor and she's fired up. She's running. Belts are spinning. You can hear the alternator just purring, but you know what that means, boys. We're taking this one for a drive. We're taking this old GM for a drive. She fired up, boys. Been sitting years. You can hear the alternator crying, whining, because the battery's got like 0 charge in it. So, and the battery, like, I guess it's working, because if it was completely pooched, it wouldn't go. But it fired up. See, the battery gauge is dinging off the perfectly full line there, so that's good. She's got oil pressure and she's warming up. Low coolant, it says. Got to throw on a coolant light. So there's only so much fuel in this right now. We didn't want to put much in because we weren't sure if it would even run. So now that we know that it runs, we're going to be taking this one for a little test drive, seeing what it can do, seeing if these are amphibious, because I know that they did have an amphibious option when they made these, and so we'll take her in the pond and see if this one has that option. Boys, okay, so as you can see, she's looking a lot better. She's looking really good. We got her fired up, okay? So she wouldn't take a charge. I went ahead and hooked up the trickle charger, wouldn't take a charge. Cleaned off the battery terminals, we had power. Tried to get her going, still didn't have enough to the battery. So we hooked her up to the tractor, fired right up. This is just a rundown. You guys are going to either have already seen this or you're going to watch this in a minute. I'm going to link this all together. So she fired right up. Like barely even turned over. I turned the key and I went, and it's so quiet. You couldn't even hear it. And next thing I know, I had RPMs and she went. So then we went to pull it out here, and because we got to get air, 3 of the tires are flat. So we went to put air in those and pulled it out, and it pulled out fine. Needed a bit of power just to get out of there, but the alternator was really working because the battery's got like nothing in it, right? So it needs to have some juice to run off. So then when we went to back it back up, it stalled. So we aired up the tires, and tomorrow, or one of these days coming soon, well, it won't matter to you guys. You'll see the video. We're going to boost it back up and drive it into the pond. So the old man seems pretty adamant about that. We should splash it into the pond. I think it's a great idea. First, we're going to see if maybe we can get her to do some donuts and some other fun stuff. So, boys, and you know, it's funny because his buddy called him up, Steve, and he was telling him, yeah, you know, my son's got that old truck running and he's going to splash it into the pond. And Steve said, well, that's crazy. That's a nicer truck than I've ever owned. So I said to the old man, well, tell him to come buy it then. Right? Like, there's no... So anyways, it's pretty good. It's a solid unit, right? Like, everything, it purrs like a kitten. Fires right up. And apparently she does donuts pretty well. And so the plan from here is to see what we can do with this thing, right? And that's kind of the direction I've been trying to take the channel. And so the old man's helping me out here. Man, these wheels are thin. Look how thin this wheel is. Like, what is this, a tractor wheel or something? And just soft too, foam. So he got this truck given to him by his old lady's dad, who gets new trucks all the time, and he ran this one for years. Once we fired it up and left the door open for a minute, the dog jumped right in because she's used to this truck. Her name's Poppy. She didn't want to leave. She thought she was going for a ride in the old truck. So I will take her for a ride in it, but she can't come when we get a little too crazy because we don't want to hurt the dog, right? They have a hard time. They can't strap in. And so here we are. Tune in to the next one. How long is this running here? Make sure you tune into the next one, because on the next one, we're going to be ripping this thing. She's got a V8 in her, right? 5.3, seen the Vortec on it, and so it goes. This one goes, and it's going to be a lot of fun, right, boys? And you know what? This is really good of the old man to be doing this for me and help me build the channel through this. He knows this is where I've been trying to get to, and it's been hard for me to get my hands on a truck, and I even think sort of wrap your head around the idea of buying a truck, and because I've got nowhere to store it, I've got the bush roads to drive it on, but I don't have a camera person. So here he'll be able to film, and we can really have some fun, right? And so that was really nice of him. I think he's trying to help me out and help me build the channel to where I want it to be. And so I really appreciate that. If you do see this video, Dad, thank you. Means a lot. You're helping me out here, and we're going to keep pushing on this thing until she breaks. So he figures I should find a helmet. I don't know how hard he wants me to drive it, but like so I liked hearing that. But we're going to take it easy and stay safe. He also said too, he said, don't roll this window down because you might not get it back up, and then the seat will be wet and you'll have to be driving around with a wet seat. I don't really care about that, but he said after that, he said, we'll roll it down when you go to splash it into the pond as an escape hatch. So I'm not sure what he thinks I'm doing here, but we are going to get crazy with it and really squawk on it. And you guys know I've been dying to squawk on a truck. I've had my truck with the camper on it for months now. I've spun like tires a couple times, probably 10 revolutions total spinning, because I need the truck to live in. And I noticed when I was running all these old tires and I would go and do all these donuts on the gravel and stuff, it was really cutting up the tires, right? And when you need to work with the truck like I am now, I'm fencing up a storm, as you guys have seen. I need the truck to work. I can't be riding around with all these cut up tires, right? And so this one, we will be able to spin some tire. Now it's funny, actually, today, some other guys called the old man and they just bought a sprint car. Well, he just cut soybeans in a field at the back there. It's wide open dirt right now. And they were calling to ask if they could run the sprint car around that field. And I said, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm going to film that for sure. And he said, well, can you film that? And I said, well, yeah, I think you can film pretty much anything. Like, I got to ask them, but if they don't want me to, I just got to blank out their faces or whatever. They wouldn't have cared. And so he said he can't do that field because he's just planted it with winter wheat. But he has another field they could do. But then they called back and canceled. So unfortunately, we're not going to be getting any sprint car footage of them ripping around the field. But the guy's never ran the sprint car and he really wants to try it. So that would have been cool. Not trying to build you guys up for something that's not happening, but just wanted to talk to you about that because I know you guys love that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys are all doing well out there. And now I'm just trying to carry on to get some more minutes on this video. I don't know how long all this other footage is going to be, right? It's kind of awkward filming with the old man, and you know, and whenever you get someone that hasn't been on camera a ton and they don't want to be on camera, you don't want to film certain things and this and that. There's kind of a weird dynamic there. But we figured it out, and he held the camera for me, so hopefully he'll do that again. And we got a few more days here, so I mean, Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow, and might be a few days before we get around to actually doing that. But the tires seem to be holding air. Aired them up. And like I said, she just purred like a kitten, right? She just purred like a kitten. Like it sounds way better than the Bush truck, the Dodge Beatrice. I've given it about 5 names by now. But this might even be a stronger truck than that. So one thing he did say was, you know, you might just have to throw a temporary permit on this and drive it out west rather than fly out. And I thought, oh, it's not a bad idea. But there's no way you get a safety on this thing. And we cost a ton in fuel, right? looking at 4,000 kilometers. So with the price of gas right now, that would break a guy. Anyways, boys, tune in. Stay tuned for the next one. And should get exciting from here. Over and out.